You'll notice a 90-second delay in her responses, though. 90 seconds, I'm pulling that number out of thin air. It's about that. It's a delay because she's processing. So this is one of the reasons we think everyone who has dementia goes deaf. They just go deaf. And because I say something to them, and I'll get a huh and a pause, and then I say it again and they can answer me. Well, that's not their hearing. It's the brain delay in processing what you said. So if I sat here and completely bombarded Marlene by asking her the same thing over and over and over, thinking she's not hearing me, let me say it a different way, knowing her, I'm going to frustrate her because all of this information is coming and she has no clue what I'm saying. It takes her a while. So here's your first communication skill in talking with your residents here. Make sure you have their attention. You know, the basic good communication skills. You're at eye level, you've got their attention, they can see your face, notice your body language, but then the difference kicks in here in the memory care home. You've got to allow that time for processing. They may not understand. Who's got Pete, guys? Pete is one. Pete is hard of hearing, but more than that, he has a pretty good cognitive delay. And it'll surprise you because he can talk to you and he can express himself, and you won't realize with a lot of his delay in answering you, not just giving you new information, but answering you, there's this delay. He's processing. So just give him a chance. It's frustrating to have all of this bombardment of words you don't understand and not have time to process and get your answer out. So that's one clue from him. Okay, so first communication skill, allow time. Don't bombard with too much information at one time. So let's go back to basics and think about it. You understand being face-to-face with someone. You understand making sure that they can see you clearly when you're communicating with them. But there's also, particularly with folks with dementia, goes for everybody, but particularly folks with dementia, your body positioning and your body language is hugely important because that's what they're seeing. You know, vision is the first tool we use. It's the first sense we use to take in information is vision. So your body language is going to speak to them before they process your words. So what is your name?
Josh.
Josh, okay. So Josh, what am I telling you right now?
You're angry with me?
Yeah, it's automatic. That's easy. We get that. So you want to make sure that you come in with an open body posture. And how comfortable is this, Josh?
A little uncomfortable.
A little uncomfortable. What might you want to do, Josh?
Kind of scooch.
There you go. Josh is going to run away from me because I'm in his personal space and I'm towering over him, and that is not okay with him. Understandably so. So we don't want to put our residents in a position where they need to flee. What else might they do if they're not people who flee from this pressure? What might they do?
Fight.
You betcha. You're going to get hurt if you push certain people past their limits of tolerance in their personal space. So personal space, you know what, a couple of feet we feel comfortable with. Now when we approach people with anyone really in good communication, I want to make that clear, but particularly important with people with dementia. It's important not only to watch where you are in their personal space, but to make sure they have that visual connection with you. So we do want to approach people from the front. We want to come head on and say, what's your name?
Mark.
Mark. Hi, Mark. How are you? Good to see you. And then I'm coming to the side, and I'm going to get down where Mark is at eye level with me. So I'm not towering, I'm not threatening, I'm here communicating with Mark. So you come in from the front and then move yourself around to the side once you've got that good visual connection and get down to their level. And what Mark is going to see first is hopefully a face with a smile. So he's registering friendly. Okay? So that's how you want to communicate with your folks. When you're assisting people to eat, it's so important that you're sitting in a chair beside them. Don't be standing up helping anybody to eat. You sit in a chair in a comfortable position beside them. So Another really important piece is when we communicate if your resident is standing. So anybody be my partner? Come up and, Mark, thank you so much. Okay, so come here, Mark. I'm going to put you a little bit at this angle. Can you all see us? Okay. When we start losing our senses, literally, our sense ability with dementia, when our vision starts to go, what we lose first is our peripheral vision, right? So we don't see things coming in from the side. This is why we approach from the front. So everybody, put your binoculars up. Now, you have something on the front of your pants, and I want to brush that off. Can you see the front of your pants right now? If I come over and start brushing on your pants, can you see it? What would you have to do?
Move your head?
Yeah, you have to move your head. So if I surprise attack Mark and start sweeping away the oatmeal on the front of his pants, he's going to go, whoa, this is not what I'm comfortable with. So this is a very important clue I'm about to teach you of communicating with people with this decreased peripheral vision. All right, so Mark and I are walking down the hall, and I need to get Mark because we're going to go have a shower. First thing I'm going to do is greet him where he sees me. So, hi, Mark.
Hello.
Hi. Up here, my hand is here by my face. He's made eye contact with me. Now, he sees my hand, so I can reach out automatically because we remember how to shake hands with people. That's that nice little social chit-chat stuff. So Mark agreed it was okay to shake my hand. He put his hand out. The very first thing I need to do once I've made physical contact with him is reassure him that this is a friendly encounter. And I do that by something called hand-under-hand supportive technique. Wait till you guys try this. It will just put electricity through your body when you see how powerful this is for another human being. So I'm going to put my hand up like I'm making a little butterfly with our hands. I'm bringing Mark's hand on top of mine. My hand is under him. I'm supporting him. And then where do I want my body in position to him?
In front.
Well, to the side. That's right. We greeted initially from the front, and now I'm moving around to the side. And I've got Mark. And he's going to go with me because we're supportive and we're in a friendly, comfortable relationship right now. Another little trick I know is that, turn just this way a little bit, thank you. In the joints in everybody's body, we've got little sensors that respond to pressure, and it feels good. Gentle pressure feels good on those joints. This is where acupuncture kind of comes from. So if Mark is a little bit nervous, a little jittery, I've not quite got him calm yet, I can rest my hand on his shoulder. Little gentle pressure. I'm not squeezing, I'm not pushing down. I've just got a little gentle pressure here. And I can probably calm Mark and get his attention to me, and we can go walking off wherever we need to go. Now, we're going down the hall, and Mark starts to get distracted by the fish hanging above. Oh, what just happened? Why did he flip his head back around to me?
I just gave him a little squeeze.
I did. Remember, visual is the first sense we're going to use. So all of a sudden he feels a little pressure squeezing in his hand, and he's going, oh, what's that? I've got him back. So we can continue on our way. Now look how cool it would be if we continue thinking about this hand-under-hand supportive technique. If Mark is having a little bit of difficulty getting started eating, we know he can feed himself, but sometimes he just gets stuck. If I remember that muscles have memory, and I want to jumpstart the memory in this hand and arm to take the fork and pick up the food and put it in his mouth, look how easy it would be for me to put the spoon in my hand. We're sitting comfortably at the table, and I can help Mark. I get his muscle memory jump started, and then Mark can continue, and he'll feed himself. Not only is this regaining his independence, or that's not the best way of saying it, help him to maintain the independence he has, but it's also range of motion. He's moving. He's not having to sit there lifeless while I shovel food, and he's participating in his life, and he's keeping his joints mobile. Mark needs a little bit of help brushing his teeth. I'm going to put the toothbrush in and go. I'll bet you in a minute Mark would be able to do that himself. Brushing his hair. Thanks, Mark. All of those things can be done with a hand-under-hand supportive technique. And then you can maybe back out, and perhaps the individual can remain independent in their care that way once we get them jump-started. Isn't that cool? Why not? Every time we do a task for an individual, we're taking something away from them. But I can do it faster. I can get his shirt buttoned a whole lot faster than he can button his shirt. Good for you. I'm proud of you. You're not helping Mark to maintain his independence and his dexterity. So it's not about speed dressing around here. It's not about speed anything. One of the funniest things that was hard for me to adjust to when we revamped this home and made it this memory care home and staff had to learn what all of this is about, I had to tell them to slow down. I never had to tell staff slow down before in assisted living. It's like, don't you have something to do? And here it's like, okay, go get yourself a cup of tea, get Mrs. Jones a cup of tea, and y'all go sit and talk for a little bit. Make a connection. And that's hugely important. So take it slow. Go slow is very, very important in everything you do here. Okay. So we did communication, sitting and standing. Ms. Writing, what else do I need to go over?
There was a story you relayed about your dad and the walker, and I don't remember what that was in relation to.
My dad was a resident here for over 2 years, and he was just a great guy. Loved people, and we loved him. Daddy was always in politics, so we called him the mayor of Greenfield. Because at the minute anyone would walk in the door, there would be Ed Munden. Hi, now how are you folks? Come on in here. Can I get you something to eat? I mean, he was politician to the very end. Well, Daddy was losing his balance and his ability to walk independently, so foolishly we decided we'd try a walker with him. Well, you know, once someone reaches a certain point in their dementia decline, is it easy for them to learn new skills? No, because the memory we lose first is what?
What we lost is
Yeah, our recent memory. Yeah, absolutely. So trying to teach someone a new skill as they're well involved into the dementia process is fruitless at best. But nevertheless, Daddy's fallen all over the place. We give him a walker. And 1,000 times a day, we, very stupidly, are saying, Ed, where's your walker? Ed, where's your walker? Ed doesn't even know what a walker is, and we're wasting our breath and frustrating him, but we fell into that habit. Where's your walker? Ed, where's your walker? And it was very frustrating for him. One day, he brought his walker into my office. He says, Janice, is this what you're looking for? And I was like, oh God, we're making progress. This is great. You know, I said, yes, Daddy, that's your walker. He said, well, you might as well just keep it here. And he puts it down and turns to walk away without his walker and looks back at me and says, I can't get it on the back of my motorcycle anyway. And off he goes out the door. So, you know, where are your expectations? Tipa Snow, I was relating that conversation to her, and she said, yes, one of you has a problem with reality, and it's not your father. You know, here I had this unreal expectation that he could remember what a walker was. So we have to be very careful about that. I'm going to tell you one other story about Daddy. He loved to speak. And so when I would have classes in, I would usually bring Daddy in to speak. Not only did the students enjoy talking with him and hearing him, but he loved it. I did it for him more than anything. He was given another speech. So he came into a group of students like this one day and invited, boys and girls, I am so glad to see you young people in here to learn about your political candidates. I go, oh boy, here we go. And he went on in this beautiful, really, it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, the fact that you're here to educate yourself just is a wonderful thing to see. And he goes on till I give him the hook, because he would have gone on forever. And everyone is thinking, geez, this guy is smart, he's articulate, why is he in this dementia home? So as I'm escorting him off the stage, I said, Mr. Menden, would it surprise you if I told you I was your daughter? He said, what? I wasn't his daughter. And so there you are, ladies and gentlemen, Alzheimer's disease. In his mind, he was mid-20s, early 30s. How could he possibly have a daughter as old as me? He would call me his aunt. He would call me his mother. One day he called me his ex-mother-in-law. Don't know where that came from, but he knew we had a relationship. But see, he had regressed back to being a young man, so there is no way he had a daughter my age. Isn't that interesting? So you'll see that as you go through your time here at the home. They will talk to you about their mom. They're probably talking about their daughter. I mean, don't discount that they may be speaking of their mom, but chances are they're speaking of their son or their daughter when they say mother and father. So one important point I want to bring up on that too, as you go through getting to know your residents and as you do these little interviews. And now, are you all going to do mini mental exams? Yeah, okay. So here's what I want you to be careful of. Do not put them on the spot. Don't make them wrong. Whatever answer they give you is the right answer. They will get embarrassed. Many of you have folks who are pretty still high functioning cognitively, and they will be embarrassed. Don't put them on that spot. So when you start your mini mental exam, you can tell them, I have some silly questions to ask you. Would you play this game with me? And then you've set the stage that this is silly, it's a game. It doesn't put them on the spot of having to have a right answer. Because you may ask them, how many kids do you have? And they have a level of embarrassment because they don't remember how many kids they have. You know, that's not everyone, but those are the traps you fall into. So we don't want to embarrass them and put them on that spot. So make a game out of it. And then as you're asking your personal questions and getting to know them, just be aware of that. You don't want to make them wrong. So brings me to reality orientation. Have you heard this term, reality orientation? What does that mean to you?
Well, it's pretty much correct.
Correcting someone?
To where we're at today.
Bringing them back to where they, you know what I call it? That's not reality orientation, and y'all are right, that's the term. I call it cruel. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody. That's our reality. That's not their reality anymore. So, you know, someone's sitting at the door and it's night and they need to go to bed, and we really want them to go to bed and say, come on, Ms. Jones, you know, it's late. We really need to help you get to your bed. I can't leave this chair because my mother is coming and I am waiting for my mother. So the old reality orientation would be, you know, well, let's see, Ms. Jones, you're 90 years old, your mother died 50 years ago, you know, she's gone, she's not coming in. That's reality, right? That's cruel. Because now Mrs. Jones, what? My mother died? Why didn't anybody tell me my mother died? What happened? Where is she? And now you've created a horrible situation for this lady. So what I do is, oh, I'm so glad to hear that your mother's coming, Miss Jones. Let me help you get comfortable while you wait for her. I'll get you all tucked into bed, and the minute she walks in this door, I'm going to tell her right where you are, and she'll know to come right back to your room. Okay, that's not really lying, because I swear to you, if her mother walks in that door, I am going to take her immediately back to Mrs. Jones. It's not a lie. We do lie at times. We do create distraction. You have to be very careful about that, guys, not to make a lie that can turn itself around on you and create a worse situation. Your mom's not here. You can go sit down and relax. It's okay. Your mom's not here. Well, where is she? Well, she just went out to the grocery store. Oh, I just went to the grocery store. I've got to stop her. Don't let her go to the grocery store. And so now we're pounding on the door trying to get out to stop mom from going to the grocery store. So you do have to be very careful in that. But Creative thinking, I have no problem with whatsoever. Just don't paint yourself in the corner with it. Okay? Questions? Concerns or comments? All right. Well, I want you to enjoy your time here. I want you to be a part of the Reef community. And don't be afraid to let me know if you have any issues, if there's anything you need, anything you see that you have question about, please speak up. You're welcome here. Okay? Did we hit it?
You did.